Great to be joined on Flow FM by the Deputy Chair of the ACCC, Delia Rickard. How are you, Delia?
I'm very well, thanks, Ricky. Nice to talk.
Good to be with you on Scam Awareness Week. We do our level best whenever we pick up a sniff of a scam to report it to our listeners. That's why we're raising awareness across the nation about, an eye-watering amount of money being lost in scams.
It's a huge amount. Last year we saw over $2 billion lost to scams, and this year we're on track for about $4 billion. It is really concerning. It devastates people financially. They lose their confidence in the online world. It's money that doesn't go into tax. We just have to do better in stopping it.
Is there any sort of research behind other people around the world being subjected to the same sort of increase in scam losses, or is Australia particularly susceptible?
Look, we are seeing high scam losses in a number of countries, in the UK, in the US, Canada, ourselves. I think it helps the scammers often have English as a second language, and focusing on countries where they have the language and which are relatively wealthy, it makes you a target, I'm afraid.
And when it comes to, I guess, the majority or the one big sector of that scamming, it seems to be circled around cryptocurrency. What are we saying about these particular types of scams?
Look, we have seen a fortune lost to cryptocurrency scams, and there's a lot of hype around crypto at the moment. People want to be in on it. If you remember, you might be too young to remember the tech boom and the people who missed out. So everybody wants to get in early.
I remember.
Crypto. But it is highly speculative, even the legitimate, and it is very difficult because it's unregulated at the moment to tell the difference between what is real and what is not real. And you can go online and start looking and end up in a fake website which tells you it's selling crypto. They'll call you, they'll talk you into it. We even see crypto scams being conducted through romance scams where you meet somebody, a relationship develops, so you don't get to meet them in person usually. And then after a while, they tell you about this fantastic investment they have in crypto. People try it for a little while. They often find they put in a little just to see if it's real. They find they can take money out again, and then they think, wow, this is real. The website looks like their money's going up and up and up. And, of course, they end up losing it all. So there are a number of ways that these crypto scams are distributed, but they are doing a huge amount of damage, and personally I would go nowhere near them.
It's quite nefarious, some of these scammers playing on people's emotions, using perhaps pictures and otherwise to convince them they're communicating with someone very different to who's on the other end of the line. Do we know anything about the demographic of who's most commonly getting scammed, or is it across all age levels?
There is no one who's immune to scams, and we do see scams across all demographics, all age levels. But there is no doubt that people over 65 are losing more to scams. And in part, that's because they've got some money, they're at the age where they're accessing their super, etc., probably have, paid off their home. So the older people are losing the most. However, there are losses right across the spectrum.
When it comes to, I guess, how to equip people when it comes to scams, so often the old adage seems to be, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. What are some practical steps people can take to protect themselves from investment scams in particular?
Investment scams, you really need to do your research, check them out on the ASIC website. I would use a licensed financial advisor because at least then you might have some redress if something goes wrong. But research, and use people who are licensed within Australia so you have some protection. And the other thing is also, the golden rule of investing. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. Don't put all your money into one investment because if it goes wrong, you have lost everything.
It's a very good point, and people should always see a qualified advisor, and even listening to things on the radio, they should always seek their own advice and investigations. Great investments come from the federal government into Scamwatch. The Financial Services Minister, Stephen Jones, told us there was about 10 people working on this previously. How much is that going to be boosted now?
Look, it's a really welcome thing. It's fantastic that the government is setting up the Scam Centre. This will enable us to have more staff, and we're really doing the scoping to work out what's needed to have a world's best practice at a scam centre. At the moment, we do disruption as well as education, but there's so much more that can be done. So we're really looking at how we use that money well, what's needed to be world class.
Oh, and sorry, it occurs to me just before we go to Medibank Private or Medibank, there has been this scam, well, not a scam, a hack that's happened, and there has been a threat issued about US dollar per user that they've hacked. What advice is the ACCC putting out for Medibank customers and any others affected by hacks?
Look, the whole government is incredibly concerned about this, particularly now they're revealing data. You need to watch your accounts, make sure everything's under control. If somebody contacts you and says, with a ransom, we'll give you back your data, the official advice is don't follow it. There's no guarantee that they have your data or that you will get it back. And I think we all just need to be on higher alert around scams at the moment, not just with the Medibank one, but also with the Optus one, where the scammer's got personal information that can enable them to impersonate you. There's great information available at scamwatch.gov.au and also at idcare.org. And it's worth having a look at both those websites to learn how to better protect yourself.
A really important message towards the end of Scam Awareness Week. Deputy Chair of the ACCC, Delia Rickard, thanks so much for joining us today on Flow.
A pleasure, Ricky. Lovely to talk.